When you live amongst society, you are being bombarded by messaging and communications and creative expressions that are not integral to your authentic self. It's as if a authentic person needs to erect a big dam to hold back the flooding of their waters, of their authentic self, from getting dissolved into the chaos, the admixture that is pervasive. That's a state of conflict that individuals carry day to day. At an unconscious level, they're struggling with this conflict all the time. There's no peace until they sleep. They're trying to counterbalance and control. In this fervor to counterbalance and control, there's a corruption that takes root. Because an individual is a composite, it's a formulation between expressed, between revealed, and unexpressed, not yet revealed, divinity. This divinity that you witness within yourself, the creative expressions that you perceive as divine within yourself, become the lens through which you commune with the divine. And that lens tints your perception on how you perceive the divine. You only witness the divine within the spectrum of the lens of divinity that you witness within yourself. That's a double-edged sword. You'll notice that in the book of Genesis, in the archetype, when Adam and Eve are evicted from the Garden of Eden, there are cherubs that are posted at the outskirts of Eden. And it says they have a fiery sword that swings around, that circles round, that turns. And that is illusion. Eden is time itself. East of Eden is outside the space-time continuum of causality. And in order to convene with the rest of you that is beyond the veil of forgetfulness, there needs to be an ebb and flow. It swings back and forth, give and take, between the aspects of you that are revealed to you as divine expression and the maturation and realization of the aspects of you that you don't award perceptions of divinity to. That ebb and flow polishes the lens of consciousness. Like we polish a crystal. We polish it in circular motions, round and round and round, generating heat. It's the swinging sword of fire. It polishes the lens of perception into alignment. Find that the Sufi tradition, they have these whirling dervishes to evoke what in the Kabbalists allude to as megalgel. That existence is in constant spin, perpetual spin. Is not it's not like a pendulum swings backward and forward, but it spirals closer and closer and closer to oneness. In order to maintain the end point of where it's spinning to, and connect the end point from where it's spinning to the source of the initial spin, we need to give equal expression to each, and romance them and harmonize them together into a coalescing. It's what the mystics called Ichud Hashem, unify the name of the divine. I want to explain what that means. If you have a rope, take a rope, and you spin the rope. And the rope gets more taut and folds upon itself until it draws closer and closer and closer. It knots up and it gets to be one, to embrace. That's what we're trying to do on a micro level with each individual soul. We're trying to unite the individual soul with its latent divinity. The mystics call this the divine feminine, Shekhinah. And it's what we're trying to do on the greater macro level for all of mass consciousness. To unify lost sparks of divinity with the greater light of the Creator. We spin. The faster we spin, the closer it draws together. This is the way you bring the time closer. The extremities draw and embrace. Ki vamoed, the time comes to you. So if you wish to be proactive in this way, an authentic way, there is this dam that you built in order to safeguard your heart's authenticity from all the pervading minutiae and free radicals that are out there, so you do not lose yourself, so you're holding really tight. But byproduct of holding so tight is that you're also exiling the latent aspects of your soul's divinity. So it's a quagmire, a catch-22. It's a paradox. You will find that the spiritual work is always filled with paradoxes. The reason why it's filled with paradoxes is because spirituality is not a linear machination at all. From the perspective of sanctity, all is one. The end is also the beginning. The beginning is also the end. The Creator is expressed through everything, but is also expressed through nothingness, the unexpressed. And so whenever you take a polarity and you connect a circuit and turn a light on, then opposites are revealed as being a single expression. And that confounds the linear mind that lives in consequence. So, what do we do? The secret is surrender. When you have two lovers, there is no victor unless each surrenders. There can be no conquest because love is not a byproduct of dominion, of force, of compulsion, of friction. Of weakness, of powerlessness. Love is expression that is exuded eye to eye from a space of choosing. Where each party comes forth with the integrity of their soul's authenticity and surrenders just enough to coalesce with the other's surrender to evoke a spirit of something more and greater, a gestalt. So surrender is pivotal in crossing the boundaries of your realized soul's expression and creating room for the emergence of your soul's latent capacities. And surrender is also a tool in the Eastern philosophies, disciplines, when they would teach your protectors the art of combat, they would teach the practice of how to use their opponent's aggression, advancement against them. If their opponent would advance and they would try to meet the outburst of energy of the opponent head on, then in order to maintain the integrity of what they are and their expression to not be corrupted and their center to not be adjusted, they would have to absorb the entire blow, and they would have to be exceptionally strong to do so and still stay in position. But instead, we taught the art of how to rebalance yourself so that the opponent would extend their momentum that would compromise the balance of the opponent and leave them vulnerable. And then in that vulnerability, from a space of choosing, they can choose to disarm the opponent or ensue battle. And so the power of surrender is not an expression of weakness at all. In the proper context, surrender is an expression of great strength. Anytime there is a situation of stasis, stasis means counterbalance. Eizo kenegdo, the mystics said. Each force lodging the other force into a particular position that maintains status quo without change. The way to evoke the change is to withdraw, is to surrender, is to let go. Then the counterbalancing force rushes forward and loses its stability. Just enough for you to choose to disarm it from a space of compassion, or remove it from your circle of influence from a space of clarity. Surrender is an expression of intimacy. When there is real trust, a lover can fall into the arms of the other. A child can jump from a swing into the arms of a parent because it knows that trust. But in order to experience the trust, you have to learn how to surrender to it. And what you are learning to trust is your own soul. So the greater resources of your soul, they're beyond time, and they yearn to connect with you. They yearn to guide you and ignite your heart to fulfill the consonance of creation, music of your soul this world needs. It's important once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day, before you go to bed. That you surrender to the divinity of your own soul on high. That you leave the paradigm of stasis, so that you can evoke a realization, a momentum of emergence and change that will help harmonize your inner world, your circle of influence, with the great unknown.